Here we are in Bear Creek Lake State Park in Virginia. This is kind of central Virginia, just east of the mountains where Shenandoah National Park is. It's a beautiful state park. Virginia has great state parks. We often come here in April because the weather is so nice. You can see there's some azaleas in full bloom. Everything here is just a little bit ahead of where we are in Delaware. So we usually come a week earlier in April, and it's a lot greener this year. That's our setup there. Pop-up camper, kayaks. From our site, if you can see through the trees there's a nice view of the lake. I wanted one of those lakefront sites right on the water, but that would have meant a long uphill climb to the restrooms. So this is Bear Creek Lake, and it's just beautiful. It's a nice day. It's not too warm. It's in the 60s and sunny. And we've been walking along this trail, which goes all along aside the lake, and just enjoying the beautiful day. I've been kind of taking it easy, but not really. I'm actually feeling very good today, and my heart rate's been nice and low, so I did do a few hills, but on the way back we avoided the hills and stuck to the trail right alongside the lake, which is flat, and heading back to our camper now. I thought I'd just tell you a little bit about the book I've been reading while we're camping, A Flaw in the Design by Nathan Oates. This is one of the selections for Booktopia 2023, which is coming up in just 3 weeks. So this was one of the books and authors selected by the booksellers at Northshire Bookstore, and they have excellent taste. This is a psychological suspense story. It takes place in Vermont in the middle of the winter, so it's already got that creepy vibe. Sorry for the background noise. We've got high winds today here. So anyway, the basic setup here is a man lives in Vermont with his wife and his 2 daughters. They've kind of escaped there. They used to live in New York City. He was estranged from his sister, but when she and her husband die suddenly in a car accident, they find out that they are still the legal guardians for his nephew. And Matthew is 17 years old. There is some dark history there that comes out fairly early in the book. So right from the start, the uncle and the aunt aren't sure whether they can trust Matthew, particularly around their daughters. So the basic tension in this novel as it moves forward is the nephew truly a violent psychopath, like the uncle thinks? Or has he changed and matured and grown up over the years? And is the uncle kind of paranoid? So you've got that tension going back and forth. And I'm about 3/4 of the way through the book right now, and I really don't know which way it's going to go. So, excellent suspense. A little creepy for reading at night in a campground, but A Flaw in the Design by Nathan Oates. I'm enjoying it very much. Another beautiful day here in the park. It got pretty cold last night, so we did have the heater on in our camper, but it's going up into the 70s today. Should be just beautiful. We'll be taking our kayaks out on the lake today. Now it's time for breakfast. Oatmeal today. And out on the water. It is quite windy today. It's actually calm. I've got a couple minutes of calm right now. So we'll see how this goes with the winds, but the lake is just beautiful. Surrounded by trees with that new spring growth. Very pretty. There's a little beach down there. And hi. So very much looking forward to this. I'm just waiting for my husband. He went to park the car. He's back there somewhere. It's just gonna be tricky today not to drift. I've already gotten hung up on a little submerged log because the wind just blew me at it. So we'll see how that goes, but it is a beautiful day. Supposed to get up to about 75 today, and that wind is keeping things cool. So just really nice here. Found a little calm spot here, so it's beautiful. Seen some turtles sunning on logs and an egret. Well, not an egret, gray heron, blue heron. Here's a quiet little cove out of the wind. Very pretty back here. Lots of birds, frogs, kayakers. No, there aren't a lot of kayakers. It's really just us. Very peaceful. Great blue heron just flew right over the top of us. Hoping to see him again. Very quiet back here. Cattails, birds. And we found the great blue heron. He is actually up in a tree, which I didn't know they did. Yeah, there he is, perched up in the branches. Back in the car today. We just left our campsite, and we are listening to the The Twist of a Knife by Anthony Horowitz on audio. This is part of his series where he himself is a character. So it's a fictional story, a mystery, but he's put himself and his real life into the middle of it. He's an author, he's himself, and he's teamed up with an ex-police detective to write a true crime book about him solving a murder. That was in the first book, which I listened to last fall. The Word is Murder. So here, this is the fourth book now. I missed 2 and 3. And this is the first one that my husband has heard. And it's very good so far. This time, he has written a play. And again, it's a play he wrote in real life. And they're putting it on in the West End in London, and something goes wrong. So that's about where we are right now. So we have moved over to Belle Isle State Park. This, as you can see, is very flat. The last place was really hilly. This is right on the banks of a river. So I thought we just got here and just set the camper up. So I thought I'd give you a tour when it's a little neater instead of the mess I showed you at the beginning of the trip. All right, so couch there, king size bed there with our duffel bags, not yet thrown all over the place. And then we've got a nice big counter, sink. There's a table and booth to sit at. We've got all the windows open because it is beautiful. It's like 70 today and going down to about 55 tonight, so good sleeping weather too. It's been a little cold the last 2 nights. 3-burner stove and another king-size bed. That's the grand tour. All right, now I'm hungry, so I'm gonna get dinner ready. So, quick health update. If you're watching this from my the chronic illness portion of my channel, I've been doing really well. It's been a very active vacation so far, and I'm doing okay. I'm pretty worn out today, but okay. It was a travel day, so several hours in the car, listening to an audiobook, easy, nap in the back seat. The day that we went hiking and where we were camped there was a little bit of a distance from the bathroom, further than I like, and uphill on the way back. So I actually did 8,000 steps that day, which is double what I was even capable of doing last year and the year before during these back-to-back relapses. In fact, if I did 4,000 steps a day during the relapses, I knew I'd be badly crashed the next day. So I did 8,000 steps and was still okay the next day. And then yesterday we went kayaking and I managed that pretty well too. I'm sore today. The wind was really strong out on the lake, and so yeah, I really used my upper body muscles, but it's not very exerting in terms of heart rate. My heart rate, we were out there for almost 90 minutes, and my heart rate never went over my limit. So I've been doing very well. So, bottom line, I think I am definitely back to my baseline and working my stamina back up, and feel very grateful that I've been well enough to enjoy this trip. This is Belle Isle State Park, and we are kayaking on Deep Creek, which feeds into the Rappahannock River. Rappahannock, probably. It's a beautiful day, though it's going to get a little hot later. and it's nice and calm here, which is better than fighting the wind at the last place. Last time we were here, we saw some osprey and eagles, so hoping we see some today. We're exploring all the little nooks and crannies of Deep Creek. We've been to Belle Isle State Park once before, so we knew this was a really good kayaking spot. And it is perfectly calm today. It's very easy kayaking. We've seen 2 great blue herons. No eagles or osprey yet. And it's just very calm and peaceful out here. We're the only ones out here. The parking lot at the boat launch was completely empty, just us. So it's nice. Just resting here in the shade a bit. It's nice when it's this calm. You can just sit still sometimes. Looking through this marshland, we just saw, I don't know if it's the same great blue heron we keep seeing, but just saw it fly by twice. Lots of birds out, songbirds. So now we're all in the larger part of Deep Creek, which, as you can see, is a very large creek. We were in the little inlets before. We did just spot an osprey's nest and an osprey flying to it, but I wasn't close enough to get a picture, or fast enough either. So we're heading back to the dock now. So this has been a beautiful campsite. We're starting to pack up now. Took the kayaks out yesterday. Gonna clean up the camper and close it up. But this was just a beautiful sight because look, we're just surrounded by these really tall pines with some shorter sweet gums surrounding us. Just beautiful. I think you can probably hear the birds. They're very beautiful, peaceful, very large campsite. This was a nice stop. This is our second time to Belle Isle, and we really like it here. Very nice. But it's Friday, and the campground's gonna fill up tonight for the weekend. In fact, we weren't able to get a Friday reservation. So we're heading into town, not too far away. Gonna meet up with a college friend of mine for dinner and her husband, and then heading back home. I am back home now. Everything's nice and green here. Our dogwood is in bloom. And I realized I forgot to tell you about my latest book. I am reading Brother and Sister Enter the Forest by Richard Mirabella. This is another selection for Booktopia, which takes place now in a week and a half. This is a novel about family relationships, which is probably clear from the title. The brother in this case shows up on his younger sister's doorstep. He's homeless, he's struggling, he's clearly not healthy, and she's not sure about taking him in because there's some history there. So the novel takes place in two timelines: what's happening in the present day between him and her as adults, and some things that happened in their childhood. Their relationship with their mother, their father died when they were both fairly young, and the relationships with each other. There are some tough topics in this. Clearly the brother is struggling with some sort of mental illness, certainly severe anxiety, and perhaps something else as well. He's not diagnosed, but he's been struggling with these things at least since he was a teenager. And the sister's dealing with her own stuff, and their mom is not a real warm fuzzy person. So I am really enjoying it so far. I know that sounds all pretty depressing, but it's very well written. It's an intricate, intimate story, and so far it's excellent. Let's see, yeah, I'm a little more than halfway. So that's Brother and Sister Enter the Forest by Richard Mirabella.